There we go.
Braun Duin is just splashing green for Deathrite Shaman. And there's Jeremy playing Grub. Okay, so we have what is that? We're switching to. We're going to game 2. Is that? Okay, I'm sorry. Going into game 3 here. 1 game apiece. I think Jeremy just won that one. Is that what just happened? Okay, so Jeremy likely going to be on the play here in game 3 after. I'm sorry, Jeremy won that one, so Brian's going to be on the play. Yeah. Mix that up for a second, but yeah. No green cards in the sideboard, so just the Deathrite Shaman. I like these bug control, or I like these Esper control lists, but I think prefer without the Stoneforge Mystic Batterskull thing, although it is definitely ubiquitous in Legacy.
Oh yeah.
So, have you been playing any interesting Legacy decks?
Never.
Never, just boring ones?
Yep.
Like Unicorn Sleeved Blue-Red Delver?
Yes.
So actually, you said to me the other day you thought it might be one of the best decks in Legacy, or the best deck in Legacy.
Yeah, I actually think that Delver Burn is really, really awesome. And I've been thinking that ever since the last Star City Games event that I was doing coverage at in Cincinnati, when I watched several players playing the deck, and it just seems like it has access to all of the angles. Now, obviously, like every deck in Legacy, it has some bad matchups, but I was really impressed with it. And even players who I felt like were making some questionable decisions seemed like they were sailing really well with it.
Other deck I saw you playing, a Life from the Loam deck.
Yeah, I like Life from the Loam. It's a good card.
Yeah. Saw a lot of that last week in Indy. In fact, one made top 8. It was an interesting version of a Loam deck where it was, I guess you could classify it as aggro Loam, but it wasn't like the Countryside Crusher aggro Loam kind of deck, Crusher and Seismic Assault that you kind of normally see. It was a slightly different take on it. You can check out the SCG Indy coverage, Indianapolis coverage on the StarCityGames.com. At the top you see events and event coverage archive. You can just find all of the archived event coverage up there.
Countryside Crusher is a good card.
That was one that, when it was spoiled, I think people went crazy for it, and I'm one of those people. I thought it was going to be just huge, and I wanted it to actually be huge too in games. But I thought it was going to make a huge impact, but it didn't see a lot of standard play.
It was hindered by a lot of factors. I believe when it was in standard, there were either no fetch lands available, or they were about to be on their way out. I can't remember the exact timing though.
It came out in Lorwyn block. Right, it was in Morningtide, so it was Lorwyn block, so there were no fetch lands.
Yeah, which makes it much weaker when you can't fetch it to bigger sizes.
Yeah, I mean it's still a very interesting card. Not a lot of cards like it, and it does still see play in aggro Loam lists from time to time when you see an aggro Loam list.
Braun Duin starts off with an Inquisition of Kozilek. Umezawa's Jite, Deathrite Shaman, Abrupt Decay. The choices.
I think. Yeah, this is a tough choice. I might go with Jite here, or I might go with one of the Abrupt Decays. There you can see.
I like getting in the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, so you go with the one card that I didn't mention.
Well, it depends, honestly, if Braun Duin has a card like Swords to Plowshares in his hand or not.
It feels like there's more answers in his deck for a Deathrite Shaman than there are for something like Jite, and of course there's very few answers to an Abrupt Decay. It's an answer in itself that can't be answered. So he goes with Shaman, taking your position, and I could absolutely be wrong there, but that was my logic.
Underground Sea, Wasteland. Goes with the Wasteland. Let's start over. No one can talk, no permanence. Swamp go.
Starting over. All right, so
Underground Sea number 2. Go.
Brian draws for the turn. Saw Jace in his hand, I believe. Stoneforge Mystic. Couple of lands. He has the ability to go Stoneforge Mystic here, and it looks like he might do that. He's played a Flooded Strand and immediately cracked it. Looking for a basic Plains, potentially. Does he play a basic Plains? He does play one basic Plains. There it is.
There it is.
And so we're going to see a Stoneforge Mystic, very likely here. There it is. And he's going to find... Well, Batterskull is always the go-to, but Jite is what he finds. And that is one very good answer to opposing Jites. So, deals with the Deathrite Shaman with the Inquisition of Kozilek, has an answer for the Jite in hand. Also knowing that his opponent has 2 Abrupt Decays, kind of offering up that Stoneforge Mystic if that's something that Jeremy feels like he needs to deal with. Considering the fact that Brian didn't get a Batterskull, it's not as threatening if he presumes Brian does not have a Batterskull already in hand. And the Stoneforge Mystic's more scary when it can tap 2 and play a 5-mana spell. Or when you can tap it and 2 mana to play a 5-mana spell.
Verdant Catacombs, Badlands, Volcanic Island, I believe 2 other land, or maybe 1 other land, 2 Abrupt Decays, and Umazawa's Jite in hand.
Yeah,
so Jeremy VanScoyoc, lots of mana, not many spells.
Yeah, again, if his spells are just Abrupt Decay, Jite, then he really has no way to threaten what Brian, or threaten Brian's life total at all at this point in the game. Even the Jite is pretty weak because without a guy to equip it to. But there you see Abrupt Decay on the Stoneforge Mystic. He's going to go ahead and deal with it now. The board state now 2 lands apiece, and Brian places 3rd. Flooded Strand immediately cracks it. And he's got a turn 3 play. I'm not sure what he's going for here. Finds an island, so he is wasteland proof, but those are all of his basic lands.
And his opponent, Jeremy VanScoyoc, runs 4 wasteland. We already saw 1 on turn 1 from Jeremy VanScoyoc. And Deathrite Shaman hits the board, as well as Umazawa's Jite. We know that Jeremy VanScoyoc can answer both of these cards. He's got a Abrupt Decay that can kill the Deathrite Shaman and Umazawa's Jite of his own, which could kill that Jite.
Also just drew a Tarmogoyf, so finally he's got a threat, and it's going to be a pretty significant one because you've already got creature, instant, land in the graveyard at least. And Thoughtseize, I believe so, sorcery. So it's going to be a fairly large Tarmogoyf.
And he passes the turn.
Now he wants to try to see if he can get some mana out of this. There's a Thoughtseize from Brian. Here he's going to basically lose either his Goyf or one of his answers. So
he takes care of the Jite. He says, you know what? You're going to hit my Jite, but I'm not going to let you have an unanswered Jite. Thoughtseize is going to hit either Jite or the Tarmogoyf, both of which are very powerful cards.
I think I go with Goyf here. I think, let me see, where is this?
I guess we're on opposite sides. I would probably take the Jite.
Yeah, I guess the Jite is a dead card until there's a creature.
And then it's in a crazy card.
Yes, that's true. But it gives you have time to find another answer for the Jite. However, there's not a lot of. That's what I'm pausing here for.
He goes with you. He goes with the Goyf.
Goes with the Goyf. Okay, so looking, he has the one Umazawa's Jite of his own. I thought he might have a second.
Then eats a land from Jeremy VanScoyoc's graveyard. Cracks a land. Is going to cast a Jace, I believe. Yeah, if he's got Jace in his hand, then going for getting the Goyf out of there is great, because then he has
Fate Seal.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even have to worry about the Goyf attacking the Jace. He can just bury Jeremy VanScoyoc in the cards that the Jace provides.
Yeah, I mean, but knowing Jeremy's hand now, he lands Jace and starts Fate Sealing. I think that's my plan. That's what I would do. We'll see what Brian does.
I'm always a card advantage kind of person.
He Fate Seals.
Yep.
Yeah. So, get the big die. Yeah, like
I know I am overly in love with card advantage, and sometimes I will be so over ready to use Jace.
well, it's nice to brainstorm. It feels real good, but sometimes you just, when you have that perfect information, he knows every card in Jeremy's hand, and he leaves the card on top. There, and there you see he's going to play the GTA. Jeremy's going to play the GTA, but Brian has perfect information, and he is able, also at the same time, while getting that perfect information, his Planeswalker is ticking up and up and up, and eventually going to provide a win condition. And, you know, if he wants to brainstorm, he also has that card, Brainstorm. So he can...
That was that land.
Yeah, so...
Puts 2 lands back.
He's got a fetch land.
Fetch in play.
Delta.
Cracks the fetch. His immediate cracking of the fetch means to me, I think he's going to use Jace's 0 ability.
Yeah, in this situation where if you really have no answers in hand, you may consider brainstorming. And I think, you know, he just brainstormed, thought maybe he could find something, isn't able to really find anything there with that brainstorm. So I could see him brainstorming here to just have a little bit more protection. But I could also see him still fate sealing because he still has perfect information.
And he has no fear of a lightning bolt killing Jace right now. Whereas before, a lightning bolt off the top could have killed Jace unless he did the fate seal.
Yeah.
And we see the brainstorm effect getting
brainstorm.
Snapcaster,
Stoneforge
Mystic. Not bad. Puts back a land, and I'm guessing a Snapcaster. Casts Stoneforge Mystic, fetching out the Batterskull most likely.
Yeah, he's already fetched his GTA, and I don't think he has any other targets.
No sideboard artifacts.
And there's the Batterskull.
Now Jeremy in a terrible position. Jace in play, Batterskull waiting in the wing, Stoneforge Mystic in play, Deathrite Shaman, and one card that Jeremy has the colors for, but he does not run, would be a Pernicious Deed, could clear up a lot of this problems, but it really doesn't belong in his deck either. He's kind of a Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, Attack You deck, and so he does not run that card, and unfortunately for him, coming back from this position is going to be exceedingly difficult.
He has a 1 land in hand and just played a Polluted Delta, so not looking great for Jeremy at the moment. He is, however, one possibly reasonable thing is that if Jace fate seals, he can crack the Polluted Delta to get a fresh card on top. That's the only consolation I can find right now for Jeremy, because facing down a Jace, a Stoneforge Mystic that is now live, and yeah, here's Brian going to tick the Jace up, fate seal, take a look, and he's thinking, he looks at what's in his hand, and he says, keep it, and now here's Jeremy's decision. Is it good? And he's gonna, he says, I want to see what it was. So he gets a duress, and Brian's like, yeah, I guess that's fine. And see duress, and I think we're gonna vial in the Batterskull. Brian's hand, I believe, is Snapcaster land. Oh, it's double Snapcaster. So yeah, fine, take a Snapcaster.
And Jeremy's like, that's enough. That's enough. Mercy.
Yeah, that was a rough game for Jeremy. We saw he was flooded early, and it didn't really ever improve for him. He had very little in the way of threats. He did have something that seemed like it could be threatening, as you mentioned. Umazov's GTA seems like a crazy card, but it has to have a creature.
Somebody has to carry it.
Yeah, somebody has to carry the GTA, otherwise it's just lying there.
Yeah, if you got a sword up, like, you know, on the wall, then it just doesn't really do much, but you put it in somebody's hands. Now, a GTA, not actually a sword, it usually is used to catch on people's clothing or parts of their body, but...
Yeah. Isn't it also like meant to like break swords? I think is the other.
Actually, no. But